It's Pete from Chief Homesteading, and today we're in the garage and we are going to get the Pioneer P41 up and running. You probably remember a little while back I bought 6 chainsaws and they weren't running, and you know, life gets in the way. It got way too busy. I haven't had a chance to do almost anything or make videos, so I thought, you know what, this morning I'm going to get out here and we're going to clean the carburetor on the Pioneer and get it up and running so we can start selling some of these chainsaws and get some money out of it. So let's start cleaning.
Of all those chainsaws we bought, I thought this saw seemed to be the most promise. It looked like it was in the best shape. It's a Pioneer P41. A P41 is, I believe, is close to 70 cc saw. It's about, I think, 66 cc's. I didn't look that up, so. But this saw is in exceptional shape. It's really, really good shape. Someone did take care of it. It's a nice old saw, so we're gonna start cleaning the carburetor on this. Blow that out.
Okay, inside here there's a clamp. You remove that. Make sure that there's no rips in the boot. There's a rip in the boot right there. I hope this means that it hasn't been dusted, because that would be a shame. Blow it off.
So we're going to remove these 2 screws.
So you kind of put the carburetor on an angle and pop the choke lever off. Then you unhook your throttle and the carb's off. Now we've got the carb off. I'm going to try not to remove the gasket. You really should change the gaskets every time, but some of these old chainsaws is really, really hard to get the parts for. Okay, so we're going to disassemble the carburetor. We're going to remove the bottom cover. Now we're going to try to be gentle, because I don't want to rip the gasket. Okay, so there you go. The gasket and the pump diaphragm seam, they're not hard, so that should work again. As I say, the proper way is to change all the kits. I just wanted to do a quick clean, and it's been taking a long time to get parts from Amazon. If Amazon sells this gasket, that's the next question. Okay. It really doesn't seem like it's too gummed up. We might get lucky and clean this up and it'll just run. I'm going to remove the low screw. I count how many half turns I have to remove this. So 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14. Now mark 14. And same with the high. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13. So the reason I do that is it gives me a rough idea where I can put my screws back in and they'll actually start up and run. if you kind of know that the chainsaw was running properly first, it kind of gives you a better idea. This thing here, I have no idea if the guy ever had it running properly, so we can't really count on that, but it's kind of nice to put it back in the spot that it was, just to start off anyways. We're going to remove the needle and seat. We'll remove this little screw right here. And there's a tiny spring underneath it. There is a tiny spring underneath it, so you don't want to lose it. You kind of lift it off, and you remove the spring. Put it in a good spot, and then you remove your needle. And there you go, the carburetor is somewhat apart. This is one of your, I think this is your main jet, but they glue it in, and I can't get it out very well, so we are just going to blow it out. Make sure you use safety glasses when you are blowing out the carburetor, because number one, you use them brake clean, you're blowing it through the carburetor, and then you use air to blow it out. So I don't want you getting that in your eye. So basically, all these holes you got to blow carb cleaner down. Blow in all those holes. Every single hole. Clean off all the rest of the parts. So first you're going to set the spring in to the hole in the carburetor. We got the needle stuck in the little lever. We're going to stick it in the hole. Slide the pin in. And you get your thumb and you kind of just gently put it in place. Here's your screw to hold it down. Tighten it up. There you go. And then you make sure that it moves freely. And it does, so that looks good. On the end of this, you see there's a little notch, and there's a little notch on the lever, and you kind of have to put it in there and slide it in. So basically, you're putting the diaphragm in, sliding into the end of the lever. Make sure that moves all free. Not all of the chainsaw carbs do that anymore. Some just sit on the end. Okay, so there you go. So that's all tightened up. Throw the gasket and the cover back on. They have line-up holes. Set it down, we'll tighten this up, and then we can start reinstalling the carburetor and see if we can get this thing to fire up. Now we'll put the adjustment screw back in. High goes in 14 turns, 14 half turns. 12, 13, 14. And then we'll adjust it after we get it running. Really wasn't very much in there. Okay, so we're going to put the carburetor on. We hook the throttle linkage into that hole there. Get our choke lever, and we got to get it into there. Get that lined up. We got the bolts and our little holder for the air cleaner boot. And then you line it up and make sure that you don't strip the holes in the intake. Make sure that they start before you really start pushing. And when you tighten these up, you want to tighten it up evenly. So a little bit, a little bit. You don't want to tighten one side. You want to make sure that they're tightened evenly. Gonna put the boot on. Make sure it shoves over. Tighten the clamp. Okay, so let's fuel it up and see if we can get it running. Okay, so let's see if it'll fire up. Choke on. Oh, that's a good sign. Okay, we're going to adjust. We're going to open up the load just a bit more and see if we can keep it running. Better. So there you go. She's up and running. I adjusted it where I like it. I'm going to go out and try to cut a little wood with it or something, just see how well it runs. Make sure that it's running good. But it sounds good and it starts up really, really easy. So I think this is going to be good saw for someone. I'm going to make sure that I cut a little bit with it before I actually sell it to someone, but I feel real confident with this one. So in the next little bit, I'm going to throw this up in Kijiji or Marketplace and just see if we can actually make a little bit of money on this. So that's about enough for today. You guys have a good.